We back on sports. You know what? No. We're not going to start this off with we back on sports. Let me say now, before I get started on sports, all right? Let's talk about what today is. MLK, Remembrance Day. They're having things locally here. If you haven't volunteered, please try and go volunteer. Just a little bit of your time. It's a day of kindness, a day of remembrance, a day of volunteering. One of those things. Like even after this, I'm going to go do some volunteer. I was out earlier, but do a little bit more volunteer work, and then I got to go to work myself. You know what I mean? So I won't be back till later. But it's one of those things today where it's just in and out. So it's schedules because I have to train so many boxers today. So certain hours and come back, then go back, go back to work, and come back home and go back to work. So it's just one of those things, just running around. This is usually how my day is anyway. But I want to say, them Eagles, we need to have this talk. We need to have this. First off, bravo. And I'm not just talking about the Eagles. I'm talking about the NFL weekend. I say this because exciting. Immediate excitement when it came to these games. Every game was great. I mean, of course, you could probably look at the Patriots game and be like, yeah, all right, whatever. But overall, the games that were put on this weekend it just took over. And you know what? It's going to take over for the rest of the week, too. And I say it's due to the fact that the Eagles, how many people said, not just outside the fan base, but within the fan base, said that our season was over due to the fact that Carson Wentz was hurt? How many? Nobody had any type of confidence in Nick Foles. So for those who had said this, all right, had no confidence in Nick Foles, you didn't want to see him, the season's over, we should pack it up, you need to publicly apologize and then leave the nest as far as I'm concerned. That's absolutely ridiculous, man. What did I say in the last sports video? You get behind that quarterback. And I put it like this. That game, great game manager. And I feel this is the way the Eagles are going to have to play throughout the rest of the season. All right? In the postseason, I should say. Okay? They're going to play like the old Ravens. They're going to have to lean on defense and game manage really well on offense and pick your opportunities. That's how they're going to have to play. And the Eagles' defense is not getting enough credit. It's not. When you hold the Atlanta Falcons to 10 points, that's something. Also, the offensive line is not given enough credit due to the fact that they opened up a lot of lanes for running and protected your quarterback. So as far as I'm concerned, Eagles defense and definitely the offensive line they get their credit this week. My problem with the Eagles in this game, okay, turnovers. I don't understand how you turn over the ball so much. Special teams making really bad decisions. I can't say much about the punt because it literally, the guy was blocking, it bounced and went the other way and hit the guy. He can't do nothing about that, you know what I mean? But special teams, you did a lot of bad things. Running backs, why are you... Look, I understand it was cold out, it was windy. I mean, we saw the first play of the game, it was so windy. Foles gets out there, he throws a duck pretty much, and it's a really bad pass. I mean, we just got lucky that he gave us a pass interference call. But, I mean, I'm sure the coach was like, maybe we should run the ball. I think we should run the ball. Like, letting him go deep like that with that wind was crazy. So, once they got the run game established, it was an entirely different thing. But they started fumbling during the running game. I'm like, come on, man, there's too many fumbles going on right now. What is going on? You know what I mean? So, yeah. Eagles overall played good. Foles, once he felt comfortable after the run game opened up things, was doing some really good work. But Eagles fans, we need to have this talk. We talked about, not too long ago on Twitter, about Bills Mafia. Did we not? Okay. Bills Mafia. I want to say, Bills Mafia, you have made things really funny, really entertaining, while dangerous, really entertaining to sit and watch and laugh at. But I thought to myself, no one's going to do that in Philly. We're not doing that in Philly. That is y'all thing. You know what I mean? We're not messing with that due to the fact that, that's kind of dangerous. We ain't going to do that. And then before the game... I don't know whether to give y'all a thumbs down or a thumbs up on this. I say this due to the fact that when you watch the other Bills Mafia stuff, I mean, literally, those they took it to a completely different level. You know what I mean? It's almost like they practiced all season for that. You know what I mean? As opposed to the Eagles fans doing it. I want to give you a thumbs up, not just going through the table, but for how cold it was that day, and y'all don't have no shirts on. Because the hell y'all think? It doesn't matter. Y'all must have been liquored up. But I also want to get you a thumbs down because he didn't technically go through the table really crisp. You know what I mean? So it's a number of things that's going on right now. I'm kind of torn. But I mean, when you see Bills Mafia do it, it's like, damn. Like, they crazy sons of bitches, but they make it fun to watch. You know what I mean? And then you look at the Eagles and you're like, the hell is this? Like, that's what you feel like, you know what I mean? Because it's almost like you feel spoiled. So, yeah, Bills Mafia get out the playoffs. I would have loved to have seen what happened with the Bills if they'd have got, further into the playoffs. Oh, my God. It would have been great. God knows what y'all came up with. But, Eagles seem to have taken something you've done, and I guess they're trying to fill the void of entertainment when it comes to Eagles fans. I don't know. I don't know. But, I mean, the game itself was entertaining enough to where we've gotten to the point now. Like, listen, look, people didn't think we were going to win this game. All right? The media, everyone picked the Falcons because the way the Falcons got into the playoffs and, of course, our depletion in roster when it came to the Eagles. So, but still, they had to come to us. They had to come to us. And I'm thinking to myself, well, we have a chance to win this game. Because the Falcons are known for choking. They are. I mean, we saw what happened in the Super Bowl last year. I mean, we just saw not too long ago, what was it, last weekend, that Monday, we saw the Georgia Bulldogs blow the game against Alabama. So, yeah, I don't have any faith in any Atlanta team at all. And I'm sorry to say that, Atlanta. Y'all know I love y'all, but still, I have no faith in you. So, when you came into our house, I felt as though the Eagles had a good chance of winning. That's how I just felt, okay? And the thing is, Atlanta, it's amazing how people, again, did not believe in Nick Foles, said that we were pretenders, said we were one and done, but Nick Foles, our backup, played better than Matt Ryan. That's right, Matt Ryan. You saw what they were saying on the internet, right? Oh, Matt Ryan, he's a native from, I believe it's Media, right, or something like that, and he's looking to have a happy day and then, have a good game and be able to celebrate in our area. Nah, that's not going to happen today, bruh. That's exactly what I said to him there. That's not happening today. We're not having that. You know what I mean? So as far as I'm concerned, great game. All right. The Eagles, like I said before, they got to play, as far as I'm concerned, let them play almost like the old Baltimore Ravens did and get us to where we need to go. Eagles fans, we need to have this talk just to let you know, okay? Because if you haven't seen what's been going on since they won, I mean, soon as they won, I mean, this city had exploded. As you know, it's a sports town as it is. So, the city has exploded. It's been taken over. Now, last time we saw something like this was the Phillies in 08 and 09. We saw this, okay? So, let's have this talk. For those who are going to the NFC Championship game, I believe it was Desert Eagle. I believe you said, what, tickets are $500? $500? Okay, all right, whatever. Anyways, if you're looking for places to go or where it's going to be packed, all right, during this NFC Championship game, remember, there's two spots that are huge in Philadelphia that, if they win, are going to be packed. All right? And I'm saying area. The first, as you know, is Broad Street. Remember in 08 and 09, Broad Street, when it came to the Phillies, Broad Street was mobbed. You couldn't do anything. So if you're not going to the game, I would suggest you go to the Fox and Hound. All right? It's only a couple blocks away from Broad Street. I would suggest going there. And then I don't know if they're going to have an extra charge or not because it's going to be a big game. But I suggest going there. So then when you celebrate the Fox and Hound, and then just walk, the 2 blocks away, 2 blocks down to Broad Street and party. You know what I mean? And celebrate. If you are in the Northeast, I would suggest being around Frankfurt and Cottman because, as you know, there's a big sports bar right there. And if you remember in 08, 09, that area was mobbed too. You couldn't even go down there. SEPTA was like, yeah, we're not even trying. We're not trying. So those will be the 2 biggest places if the Eagles win next week. Now, here's the thing. Let's say it was a great sports weekend for Philly and Because remember, the Flyers won as well. They won, 4 straight? They won. So it's been a great weekend for Philadelphia. After they won, we saw people, like I said, in the neighborhood I was in, people shooting in the air and everything, and you know what I mean, and shooting at the sky. People are partying all week. If you haven't seen online, people are getting up. Good morning on this Monday. Everyone's nice. Everyone's, thankful. Everyone's happy because the Eagles are doing well. Because as you know, here in Philly, people wake up angry. People wake up mad as shit, don't they? So you and I both know that if the teams are winning, I've told you before, you can't wait for these teams to bring you happiness. You have to do something for yourself to bring happiness. But when it happens like this, man, it's great. You know what I mean? So everyone is doing very well today. Like I said, it's going to happen all week. People they're partying all week, and I'm with them. It does not matter what happens for the rest of the week as far as I'm concerned. You work hard, fine. Play hard. I don't care what happens. This is about being happy and enjoying your life, even if it means through these sports teams, and just doing it for at least for the week to see what happens. The lead up to the week. And the thing is, even after the Eagles won, or I'm sorry, not after the Eagles won, we'll talk about that. After the Vikings won, they had UFC on anyway. So it was a huge sports weekend. You know what I mean? But I'll put it like this. Eagles fans, we've seen video, as you know, we have seen video, people on the train, getting it in, getting that work in. Oh, the girl was eating up that boy's gun up, something nice on a train. And people are taking selfies of themselves while she's, sucking them off. I'm like, you serious? Like, on the train, Eagles fans have just taken it to a completely different level. They don't care. They're just happy. You know what I mean? And that's the bottom line of it. It really is. And people want that to keep happening. So as far as I'm concerned, I think we should move on to other games. All right? Now, like I said, the Pats game, no one really cares because we kind of figured how that was going to go. You know what I mean? Steelers versus Jags. Now, I know Steelers fans, it's hard for you to hear. I know, because of what happened. For those who have not seen what's going on with Steelers fans, the outrage from Steelers fans that are so upset because the team kind of looked down on the Jags and was like, we're not worried about the Jags, we're worried about the Patriots. And the Jags was like, really? Oh, so just fuck us, huh? Okay, and that was bulletin board material for the Jags. We saw that, okay? Now, with that said, as we know, the Jags have a pretty good record against the Steelers. And I thought that, at this point, this was going to be a real dogfight. And it wasn't a dogfight as much as it was a shootout. And as we saw, the Jags came out firing on all cylinders early, where the Steelers, who had took them for granted, kind of came out flat. So until the second quarter, near the end, end of the first half, where Roethlisberger threw that touchdown, which was like, yo, that was right on the money. You know what I mean? So there's just nothing you can do about that. Then the second half, the Steelers adjusted, and they started rolling. They started getting some touchdowns or whatever. And then you thought that the Jags, because being up, that they were going to choke this game. They were slipping. But as you know, late in that third and that fourth quarter, Jags just, it was like, oh, you're going to have this pace? We'll try and keep up with you. And that's what happened. They were just keeping up with them left and right. I put it like this. Antonio Brown, for not being 100%, played great. He played great. You can't say anything about him. You know what I mean? You can't. Bryant played great. There's a number of players who just played great. But when you see those type of scores, again, it's one of those things where it's bad look for both teams because, like I said, Jacksonville has great defense, and Pittsburgh put that many points up on them, to come back in momentum, and then the Jags had to match that. I've said it all year about Blake Bortles, or so I said Blake Ballers. This guy, even if he's not going to get you touchdowns, he's going to put you in position to get the running touchdown or whatever. He's going to do that. Again, another great game manager. So, as far as I'm concerned, that's what it is. If people need to lean on their defense or just try and keep in contention with other teams and just see how it works out, because as you know, on any given Sunday, or at this point Saturday, anybody can win. It goes to show you that even with the Jags, I'm happy for the Jags. I am. I'm truly happy for you because for the previous, 4 seasons maybe 5 seasons, you've been building this defense to what it is. You've been building. It's just you didn't have really that many offensive pieces. So you've been building on defense over and over and over. So I'm not surprised to see the defense at first punch Pittsburgh in the mouth. You know what I mean? Or even just do well in general this season. I'm not surprised. But that was pretty much a shootout near the end. And it was starting to get kind of out of hand. You know what I mean? With those scores. So as far as I'm concerned, Pittsburgh, the fans are upset. I don't know what you're thinking on that onside kick. Your coach is calling an onside kick instead of kicking it deep and making them go all the way down and trying to force a 3 and out. And then go after it. You kick the onside kick. The Jags get the ball back, good for field position, and it made no sense. For me, it made no sense. So I feel as though since that's happened, I've seen a lot of Steelers fans who are upset. I've talked to some of you. You look online and people are they're deflated. You know what I mean? And of course, they want Tomlin gone. But every season we see this, do we not? They want Tomlin gone. So we will see what happens in Pittsburgh next season. We'll see. All right? Now let's get on to the game that everybody, and I mean everybody, was shocked about. All right? Vikings versus Saints. Now I had said to people online, I've been talking to, like I said, people I know here, I did not want to, as an Eagles fan, I did not want to go up against Drew Brees. I did not want to do that. I say that because I didn't think that Nick Foles would be able to go into a shootout with Drew Brees, because we know how good Drew Brees is. So as far as I'm concerned, I didn't have a problem with going up against the Vikings. I told people online, because they were afraid that the Vikings weren't going to win, I said what? Arguably, the Vikings have the best defense in the NFL. Arguably. All right? That means it can go back and forth. Vikings, Jags, Eagles, whatever. Arguably, the best defense in the NFL. With that said, all right, Drew Brees was going to have problems. And he did at first. All right? We saw that. And I said Case Keenum will have his opportunities to play, to make some success, because the Saints play aggressive on defense. That's what they do. So they leave holes. They make mistakes. And we've seen this throughout the years with the Saints defense. At first, it almost felt like they didn't have a defense, and they were relying so heavily on offense. Now they kind of like calm that down a bit. But they're still aggressive on defense. So I said this on Twitter. I said this, all right, before the game started. So given the Vikings, who seem to have had this lead for quite a long time, I almost felt as though they were going to choke. I almost felt like I'll say the last maybe 8 minutes of the game, 10 minutes of the game was white knuckle thrill ride. You know what I mean? It was like you could not stop watching this game because you didn't know what was going to happen. You didn't know if they were just going to capitalize on a mistake, because that's what it came down to. Whoever made the least mistakes were going to win this game. That's what happened. All right? We got kickers making these kicks and shanking, and it's like, you got to be kidding me. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on here? It's everything was falling into place. And it got to a point where the Saints were up. And I'm like, yo, if the Vikings don't do anything in this possession, this game is over. It's over. And Drew Brees is on the sideline like, I did my job. We got this. We got this. And then we saw what happened, did we not? We saw the play. And like I said in the beginning about the Saints defense being too aggressive, this is exactly what happened during the play.
Marcus Williams here, he has a shot. I'm not sure really what he's thinking, Joe. He comes in, he's got him dialed in, and he just all he's got to do is make a play.
You've got to be kidding me. All right? Now, look, of course, the receiver has to make that play. He's got to make that catch. He's got to do what he has to do. I mean, he could have got knocked out of bounds for all, he got stopped. He's still got to make the play. So you got to give him his credit for making the play. All right? I've seen people online saying he didn't do anything. Yes, he did. He still had to catch the ball. He had to run the route correctly, catch the ball. Hey, if something happened, something happened. But he still got to turn upfield and run to get the touchdown. He did what he had to do. Did his job. All right? So y'all get mad because he posed afterwards. I don't know why. I really don't understand that. I don't. But there's more. The Saints defense, as you can see, that guy should have had that play. He didn't stop. He could have stopped and wrapped him up, tackled him, brought him down. The Vikings don't have any more timeouts in that situation. So you could have just made a play. Stop, play it safe. Instead, you went hero ball and tried to get the big hit, and you missed. You whiffed. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people I've seen online already say that he took a dive. Someone gave him money to miss that, because if you look at the situation, he kind of tried to hit from the side, but you got to think, if the receiver's coming down, he's got to turn. So he's trying to meet the receiver there, and he just whiffed it. That's what he did. So he ended up hitting his own guy, and that's what gave the opening, because that other guy could have, probably try and catch him and stop him. But that's what happens when you try and play hero ball. You should have just stopped, waited for him to either catch the ball. If you don't want to bat the ball down, play it safe, let him catch the ball, wrap him up, take him straight down. That's all you have to do. And he didn't do that. Okay? So again, the Saints played aggressive defense, and it paid off for the Vikings. That's what happened. So, that's it. But I want to say about the power of sports. Because for those who did not see what happened with Vikings fans, when that play happened, please watch all these celebrations. Congratulations, Vikings fans. I say this because at first, like I said, it almost felt like if that play wasn't made, people would have made fun of you for choking the game away. And let's not forget what happened in 2015 when your kicker shanks the kick, the game-winning kick, all right, against Seattle, and it takes you out of playoff contention. Let's not forget that, okay? Because that's pretty much the last time we saw reactions from Vikings fans, and that was a hard thing to watch. It was, So I'm not surprised that that Vikings fans are celebrating. They have every right to celebrate. Like I said, congratulations. This week, you come to our house. And I'm really hoping the next time a football game is played for in the Super Bowl, we're coming to your house. That's what I'm hoping, all right? We're not afraid of Minnesota Vikings. Like I said, defense against defense, we beat you already, all right? But, of course, that was with Carson Wentz. But for the pieces that we have, we can still get the job done. I am looking forward to this great game. I feel as though it is going to be a defensive battle. I think the offensive line really have to be sharp, all right, to play against the Vikings. They have to. I feel as though our defense needs to be sharp. Like I said, this is going to be a game I am just anticipating. Right now, I'm anticipating it. You know what I mean? Like I said, this week is going to be nothing but having fun and sports, and like I said, this is where you go out, you have fun with your friends. I mean, you always do that anyway, but because of the situation, now that people are like, yeah, I'm going to be out all week, okay? I'm going to join you all week. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what's happening on the internet or whatever. It don't matter. You know what I mean? So you're having fun. It's one of those things. So, like I said, the power of sports, to see something like that. And don't get me wrong, we see this in a lot of football games overseas and chanting and stuff like that. But when you see that, you know what I mean? That goes to show you how many people believe. And it's a great thing to see. It is. As opposed to the previous 3-4 weeks here where people were just like, we're done, it's over. You didn't believe. You didn't believe. You know what I mean? Lines were drawn. It was. We saw fans, checking out. And people were like, don't come back. And I'm the same way. Apologize, leave the nest. Don't come back. We don't need you. We don't. It's one thing to be critical of a team, but to think that we have no hope. And mind you, even the media picked up on this. They were like, do you believe now? Because they were making reports that Eagles fans don't think that they can do anything and just giving up. And people got offended. Those who still believe, they're like, are you serious? They got offended. And they should get offended. You know what I mean? Because you put in too much to your teams. You know what I mean? To just think, okay, look, a lot of our pieces that are great are gone. But it doesn't mean you look at this roster, you look at the depth of this roster, you still have to believe. You just can't give up on those guys. They're still in the trenches. They're still doing, blocking and all this other stuff. You have to believe in them, to some point. You have to. So, yeah. I feel as though it's one of those things where, in my opinion, Eagles fans should just, I'm going to say take it by the hour and just celebrate every hour on the hour. You know what I mean? Don't worry about anything else, for the rest of the week until this game is ready. You know what I mean? It's way too fun right now. It's way too fun. You know what I mean? There's no reason to be upset. There's no reason. This city has been so great since that game. It has. So, and of course, like I said, throughout the weekend, the NFL did great as well. It did. It was a great experience, overall. The Titans, of course, the Titans game with New England, everyone was like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. But, because, Tom Brady. But the rest of these games have been so fun to watch. I almost feel bad for people who don't watch sports. Because you don't get it. I mean, you just saw the video. The one guy was crying with his dog. Like, man, that's powerful. That's powerful. How many people really believe, that's what it comes down to. However, I will say NFL, I will say that you will get the Griffin Force Flop of the Week this week. That's right, you are getting the Griffin Force Flop of the Week. You've got to be kidding me that we've got people on the sidelines getting hit by footballs. It's not really hit by a football. I mean, it bounced. And then you throw yourself on the ground. Like, these are players who get hit at 100 miles an hour. You've got equipment on, and the NFL is not for long league, so you can take a hit wrong the wrong way, depending on the angle, and that could be your career. But you're on the sidelines, and you get hit by a football, and you want to act like this is just this diva shit where you just throw yourself on the ground. You know what? Let's take a look at it real quick. Cheat ass Patriots. Oh, you know what? Let me just. Oh my God! Like, come on, man. You should get a flag just for that. You know what I mean? But speaking of flags, or should we move over to football overseas and say cards? Red card, you know what? I think the entire Chelsea team needs a red card at this point. You've got to be kidding me. Chelsea, that we have gone, 3, maybe 4 games? No, it was draw games? Draw. You got to be kidding against these teams. Are you seriously? Like, seriously, the previous 2 games, it was even worse. Because you went against a reserved Arsenal team. Reserves! And you couldn't beat them. You got to be kidding me. And then, of course, this Saturday was just even worse. Player of the game, man of the match, I would have to say has to go to Courtois. I mean, I don't understand what Conte is doing. He's too busy arguing with Mourinho back and forth when it comes to these sound bites, and it's distracting. It really is. I mean, look, Conte, you were playing what? You had 5 defensemen out there. You had a couple midfielders, and you had 1 attacker. And the thing is, you got Baca out there, and I'm trying to figure myself, why is this guy playing all game? He's horrible. Him and Morata, just stop. Just take him off pitch. Take him off pitch. Go. Sell him, as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? Loan him. Something. Do something. They're horrible. They are. You know what I mean? But Hazard, who's our best attacker, you don't have him playing the entire game. You sub him in for Willian. Don't get me wrong, Willian is good. But, come on, our best attacker you're taking off the pitch every time. And I don't understand why. I mean, are you worried that he's going to get hurt? And then you're limiting his minutes? Is that what you're worried about? I don't get it. I don't. And then on top of this, Cahill has been wildly inconsistent. Our captain, wildly inconsistent. And here's the problem with that as well. Because Saturday, he had a great game against Leicester City. Too bad he got injured and was taken out the game early. Then Leicester City, they're playing with 10 men because they got red carded, and you still can't beat them. I don't understand. These previous 2 weeks have been so hard to watch. Now, granted, your next game is Wednesday, so I'll be watching Wednesday. But you've got to be kidding me. That in these previous 2 weeks, playing reserves, playing a team with 10 men, and you still can't win. This is horrible. It is. There's no grit. There isn't. I'll grant, you're only as good as the many opportunities that you get. But Conte, I don't know what you're doing. I don't understand it anymore. I don't. Is the office, is the board not giving you enough to get certain players that you want? Personally, you should have kept Costa. You should have. But the ego involved in all that, you just said, I can't do it. I just don't understand it. You don't have anybody who's a consistent scorer other than Hazard. You don't. At this point, we're playing for top 4. That's what we're playing for. We're not playing for, for a championship, not a back-to-back. We're not playing for title. We're not. You gave away Matic pretty much, so you can bring some of these young guys on, and they're not ready. They're clearly not ready. Like I said, Baca just needs to sit down, just altogether. He's just a train wreck. Morata, he presses the pace and then doesn't know what to do. So it's like, whatever. And then he'll flop and be like, why didn't I get the call? Why do you think he didn't get the call? I don't understand it anymore. This team is falling apart. And I say this, I mean, granted, we're not seceding. We're not giving up any goals. But we're not winning either. You know what I mean? And granted, what Manchester City is doing, if you think about it, for all of the games that you have dropped this year, we could actually be close to Manchester. They just lost to Liverpool, didn't they? Like, come on. Come on. It's hard to watch. I'm watching, but it's hard to watch. It is. Because it just makes no sense for these type of things to happen. It just doesn't. I don't know. It really is. Speaking of hard to watch, and I have to say this now, all right? The Philadelphia 76ers. I'm not going to get too much on them today. Because, whatever, all right? But when you say that after you beat the Spurs, mind you, they had 5 starters sitting down, all right? Parker, Ginobili, Gay, Kawhi Leonard. They had a number of people sitting down, all right? And people, and Sixers fans are like, but you have to understand the Spurs' depth, and they can still win games when those guys are on the bench. Stop. The Sixers did not play their best, okay? And the Sixers barely won. But what I've noticed in this entire point, because after that, J.J. Redick comes out and he says, the toughest part of our schedule is over. What? The toughest part of your schedule is over? What? I don't understand that. You still have to play the Spurs again, who are going to reload, all right? You got to play Miami, who's going to run with you. I'm not going to say they won't beat you, but they're going to run with you, all right? You got to play the Bulls, who have beaten you, all right? You got to play OKC, who has beaten you. Like, for you to sit here and say that the toughest part of our schedule is over, this is up until February, the toughest part of our schedule is over, is crazy. I like our chances right now getting to the playoffs. the Sixers have a collapse problem still. I mean, we just saw when they went to London, they were up by X amount of points and lost. Okay? Against the Celtics. Who? They haven't beat the Celtics yet this year. Okay? But this is a consistent thing. You get up by a bunch of points, and then you let these teams go on runs. And for those who need an example, look how they played Phoenix. I want you to see the stat on the run that Phoenix had when they came back to play the Sixers. Consistently bad. But you want me to trust the process, and these people are saying trust the process, the very same people who said Eagles can't do anything. I don't get it, man. I can't do this. You know what I mean? Like, this is, we'll see. Listen, at this point, you got to take it week by week when it comes to the Sixers. But you can't sit here and tell me you're going to have this blind fan race. Like I said, it's one thing with the Eagles. You see that they were winning. You see they were reloading, getting talent, and they were winning games. And it's like, okay, you got to get behind that. But the Sixers, no. They're not winning. Did anyone see Fultz not too long ago when he was shooting those three-pointers? Bruh. Simmons still doesn't want to shoot. He'll slash to the basket, but he don't like to shoot. He can't make a free throw. You put him out there in the point forward position. He turned over the ball so damn much. Without Joel Embiid being out there, they really don't have a chance. I understand Sadek is trying to step up and trying to do something, but without Embiid out there, they don't have a chance. And I don't even like to watch Embiid play unless he's angry. Because if you watch Embiid play, when he's playing, I'm having fun. He plays real goofy, flops all the damn time. It's embarrassing to watch. You know what I mean? When he plays angry, no games. No games being played. He's yelling at teammates. He's getting the job done. That's the Embiid I need to see for the rest of the season. He's not playing around. He's not flopping. No. That's what I need to see. He needs to take it more seriously as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? But let's move on, shall we? I want to talk about what happened over the weekend. Again, great sports weekend. I said UFC was after was it the NFL playoffs, after the Vikings game. But for those who did not start on Friday, did not see Clarissa Shields versus Tori Nelson. Now, this was a very interesting fight, okay? Boxing. Because Shields was projected to pretty much destroy Nelson, all right? Shields is half the age of Nelson. Nelson's about, 41, 42 years old. Ex-world champion, all right? But, I mean, and here's the thing I want y'all to remember when it comes to boxing. And sometimes, you say world champion, but sometimes it doesn't, give you what you put in. You get back less than what you put in. Nelson, they had talked about her before this, her occupation. Ex-world champion. She was currently employed as a school bus driver. And also, when she's not a school bus driver, she's a waitress. So that goes to show you, at 41, 42 years old, ex-world champion, it goes to show you that the business is very, very unforgiving if you don't play it right. And this is why when people get mad at Floyd and all these other people saying I get money and I'm making these deals or I'm going to open up my own promotions or whatever, why would you be mad? Why? It makes no sense. However, when it comes to, they said there's also journeyman boxers too. I mean, hello, Rosado. Yeah, there's a lot of this that happens, so much. The sad part about this is that people projected Clarissa Shields to run through Nelson, okay? Which was not going to happen, all right? I was even surprised myself how long Nelson got through at 41, 42 years old, fighting a person half her age, an Olympian, world champion, her being a former world champion, and they were talking about how she has kids that are Clarissa Shields' age. So, with that said, Clarissa Shields thought that she had made a prediction that she was going to stop Nelson in the sixth. All right, Nelson was not stopped at all. Nelson went the distance. Now, granted, round by round, Nelson lost every round, but you got to give her credit for hanging in there with someone half her age who is clearly, more physical, faster, stronger, more technical at this stage of the game than her, and still be able to go the distance and not get knocked down. She was hurt a number of times. She was stunned, but she wasn't knocked down. And that says something. You know what I mean? Now, also, you have to remember, Nelson, she's working in Peterson's camp. For those Lamont Peterson out in D.C., all right? Now, for those who also don't know, a couple, D.C. guys, they grabbed some of the Philly guys here to work with them, all right? Or so I've been told. But here's the thing. Peterson's getting ready. Was it next week? He fights Spence Jr. So that's going to be a hell of a fight. Next week is another big weekend for sports. So you have to understand that you have to give Tori Nelson her credit. Shields won, yes. Hammer was looking on. She was just sitting there at 160. She was sitting there like, all right, let's see what's going to happen. We'll see, how she feels about the situation. Shields not being able to put her down or whatever, or her being tough. Nelson giving Nelson the credit of being so tough. But we'll see what she has to say. But you have to give Nelson her credit. You know what I mean? Being that old, hanging with a person half her age. And I did notice that Clarissa Shields, she was lowering her left hand a lot. All right? Now, for those who don't know, mechanic-wise, when you lower your left hand, it's faster to bring it up. Okay? It's a mechanic thing. If you hold it higher, it's going to be, harder, to throw it. That's usually how it is because it's stationary, as opposed to being, hanging loose. You see this probably a lot with Roy Jones. All right? But that's another thing, a technical thing. I noticed that when Shields was hit in this fight, it's because of that, the timing of her hand being low, and Nelson would catch her. You know what I mean? That would disrupt her combinations. But like I said, that was few and far between. I can only imagine if Shields tried that with another competitor that was either matching her skill set or even stronger than her possibly, how much trouble she would be in. It's an interesting thing to think about. So, yeah, hands up. Hands up, please. Yes, here. Right here. Right here. Not down here, all the way down here. Nope, you don't get caught, So, yeah, it's like a big sign on your face. Punch me, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have this week. It's been a great week, man. So far, it's been a great week. I'm going to say it's only Monday. It's going to be a great week. You know what I mean? Don't let anything get you down at this point. Celebrate as much as possible. Get ready for that Eagles game. You know what? Before I stop this, I have to say real quick, all right? When I was at MomoCon, I ran into a Cowboys fan. I mean, he was so quick to tell me, how about them Cowboys or whatever. Well, we saw how that ended. Then when I was at DragonCon, some of you, because they watched the videos, and it was a Giants fan. He was like, Giants gonna tear you up this week, this year. You see who they got and everything? And I'm like, all right, we'll see. He was also a Mets fan as well. So, yeah, that too. So, but we saw how that played out now, didn't we? But y'all know I got nothing but love for y'all out there, so it doesn't matter. Anyways, I will talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. Them Eagles fans, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You have to be on this at this point, all right? 100%. Like I said, man, have fun, drink it up, party it up. This our week. This our week. No matter what happens, even if we lose, this our week. Don't let anything break that. I'll talk to y'all then. Y'all be safe. I'll talk to y'all then. I'm out, man. I'm out.